So, I know there's a lot of controversy about what starter bike you should jump on, but 650, if you feel you can handle the weight of a 600 or bigger, you're ready to jump on. This seat height is pretty low. I mean, my knee's bent. Probably if you were over 5 foot tall, your leg would be at least straight. I'm 6'6", so don't use me as an example, but I wouldn't recommend starting on a 600. I've heard they're really torquey. If you're really careful, you can, but you just gotta know yourself and what you're confident with. Big thing about your starter bike, whether it be like a 300 or a 600, you gotta be confident on it. And you can't have fear. You gotta have respect. Respect for what it can do, and respect for what you're riding on. No fear though. If you have fear you're gonna crash, then you're gonna crash. Just how it goes. You can't be worried about that. You gotta have respect that you can crash, and that whatever bike you have is fast enough to crash and can definitely wreck in a corner if you're going too fast. I mean, sure, your Ninja 300 might not do 0 to 60 as fast as mine, but you can still get up to a similar speed. So just be careful. I mean, it's easy to say that and then go out and twist the throttle and have fun, but just make sure that you're having respect, watching that next corner coming up, looking through the corner to everything that's coming up. I mean, the only thing I guess I wouldn't recommend is starting a leader bike unless you have a ton of experience on motorcycles, but either way, I'm sure you could. I'm sure I could have. The new one's got cool settings where you can tone down the power for city riding and such, so you don't grab too much. It's a lot more tamed than some of the older ones, but just know what you're riding, be comfortable with it, make sure you're comfortable with it before you go fast, make sure you're comfortable before you hit too much traffic. Go find like a park. Some parks have big parking lots, and if you hit it midday, you can get a lot of practice just in the parking lot. And just that starting, stopping, tight turns. MSF course is great, but those bikes are light, nothing like a street bike. So you just gotta get used to what you're gonna ride. If you hop on a new bike, get used to it. And once you get used to it, you can start pushing it a little bit more through the corners, you know? Just know a little bit about physics and know that there is a breaking point. You can't just push it like a car. You're not gonna do you're not gonna drift it like a car. You're gonna tip over, slide out. Your wheel's gonna break loose. Once the wheel breaks loose, you're on your side. That's a problem. Motorcycles, you're leaning. Instead of just turning, you're leaning. So definitely have fun with it though. Motorcycles can be a lot of fun. And again, whatever bike you want to start on, just get comfortable with it. Oh my goodness! Someone on their cell phone. Glad I'm still alive. Every time you see somebody on their cell phone, just wave at them, yell at them, just put it down. Put it down. Don't let them keep on talking. Because maybe they'll, after that stoplight, they'll pull over into your lane and cut you off. Knock you over. I mean, you can't... That's a nice house. You can't let that happen. You gotta be aware. It's the Spring Hill Road. I did a video on this earlier with my exhaust when I first did it. It's a pretty nice road, tight, curvy river road. If you get in the right gear with this motorcycle, you can just twist it around. You don't have to shift at all. Got a 35-mile-per-hour corner coming up, so I'm gonna downshift, but you know, it's fun to find those roads where you can kind of have some fun, flick it around, not too busy. There are quite a few driveways, but not a lot. It's kind of an empty road, really. Glad they're stopping there. It's nice they're gonna wait for me. Definitely look ahead for stuff like that. I have my brights on still. Great road, really fun along the river here. A little bit more wind. It's definitely cold right here where I'm at, probably 40s, low 40s. Getting some wind chill. But tires should be warmed up. Getting that torque, like I can be anywhere in my gear through the corner. If I need to slow down a little more, be at the lower end of the gear, I can just let it without shifting, and then when I get through the corner, I just rip on that throttle and I'm back to where I'm at. All the same amount of power. It's hard to tell a difference. I mean, there is, but the more you pull the throttle, the more you twist it, the more you're gonna get, which that's not always easy to find in your 600s. You pull the throttle and you get some response, but you don't get your full peak until like 12,000 RPMs. I have to wait till I get up here, but that's only 7, 8, 9. That's where my peak is at. Really easy to just have fun with it. It's low worries, I guess, like just your worry or your stresses you have to think about when you're riding. It's really low with this bike. You're not trying to predict when you're gonna, how fast that throttle is gonna jump up and you're gonna hit your peak. You don't have to get used to that. You're already it's however much you ask for. If you ask for more throttle, you get it. First shift about 45 miles an hour. That's the thing. It's kind of like a sport bike, so you got a lot of range in before you have to shift each gear. You have a lot of power, so you can your gear ratios are really pretty wide. You can get all the way up to like 40 miles an hour before you have to shift. And through first gear, if you're in town, that's really hard to, you know, manage that power with, say, a sport bike, because you're either going slow or not fast enough. And with this motorcycle, the 650V twin engine, you can get a lot of torque down low. So if you go in, you know, 3,000 RPMs, you can have the power just to tap it off the line at a stoplight, you know, in traffic. You don't have to try and get all the way up in RPMs to have fun. So that's a great thing about this motorcycle. Just have fun wherever you're at. In the city, on the highway, cruise is pretty nice. Get some vibrations, but I think my shock oil needs to be changed. I got one side that's leaking. So overall, great bike. Honestly, if you have a 600 and and you want to upgrade, you might consider this. I don't know, you got a lot of horsepower in the 600, but not as much torque. So definitely, if you're gonna buy one, try and jump on a couple bikes and see what's out there before you buy one. I use the tap to focus on my phone. You can tap spots you want it to focus on. And you can have it focus on the bright spot where the sun's at, so it darkens everything else and adjusts the light for that. And then you get a really clear picture that's not washed out, kind of a darker one of your bike. And then you can tap on your bike or the ground, the shadow behind your bike, or the really dark spot, and then it will lighten up for the dark spot, and then the sun shows up a lot more, the sun rays, and then you get a little bit more washed out look, which is pretty cool in itself.